Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is well. Following on from my last two videos, which I thought were quite good. They went well. I kind of just let loose in the charity shop today, even though I said I wasn't going to be buying any more books. I did. I checked my funds and I could afford it, so I was like, I'm just going to go for it. So I'm literally just going to go through the books I brought today and hopefully film another video after with perhaps a bit more substance. Yeah, so it was, what was it, six books for £2. So I got 13 in one. I thought I had 12 and it turned out I had 13. I was like, well, I'm not putting one back. And then I paid £1 for another one in one. So I feel that is important to tell you. So yeah, I'm just going to literally go through what I brought. I don't overly know all of the what they're about. I just kind of read the back in the shop and I was like, that sounds good. I was kind of going for what's the word? Like a fairy tale feel. I just finished reading The Hazelwood and I'm like on that kind of kick. But I'll talk about that more in my wrap up at the end of the month. Sorry about that. Just realised I'd plugged the charger in, but I wasn't charging. So there we go. Right, so let's just dive right in. So the first book, none of them are in particularly good condition. I have just cleaned them, so they're not dirty. So the first one is Shadowland by Peter Straub. I have Ghost Stories by Peter Straub. I've not read any of his books, but I keep trying, so I keep buying them at least. So this one, if your shadow doesn't move when you do, then you're in Shadowland. That's all I read. That's all I really needed to know. And I really like the front cover because it's kind of like, I love that cutout. So it's a pretty poor condition. It's old. Doesn't smell though, so that's good. So yeah, my second Peter Straub book, and I haven't read the first one, but I've heard good things. So I'm very excited to check that out. Next on the list, we have Nonfiction, I believe. Yeah. So this is Jess Baker, and this is Things No One Will Tell Fat Girls, a handbook for unapologetic living. So I was really excited to pick this up. I do love non-fiction, so it's self-help popular culture according to the back. I'm just interested to read it. I have gathered some excess myself in the last couple of months, mostly around the middle, and I'm like trying to lose it, but I keep eating takeaways. See where I'm going. So when I saw this, I was like, I'm going to pick it up. I think it's going to be interesting. So we shall see. So that's that one. The next book I brought was for my husband, but I'll probably read it too. I've taken it off of the dust jacket and thrown it away because it was disgusting. But it is, I can't pronounce the man's name, or woman. It's a man, so I'll show you. It's From Colonization to Communism in Vietnam. So this book was an ex-library book by the looks of it, and it was published in 1964. So it's a pretty battered copy. I found like loads of mud in it, and it does smell a little musty. So I'm assuming it's been in somebody's garage or whatever. So I will put this on my husband's shelf for him to read, and hopefully I'll pick it up at some point. But yeah, it's not a great copy. It's pretty dirty, but at the same time, it's interesting, so I'm not going to let the fact that the book's a little bit battered put me off. I'll just put it at the end of the shelf. Okay, who's next? Bad Blood by Rhiannon Lasseter. And so a family divided by hate, a house with a sinister path, a game started and left unfinished. It seems to be a bit of a creepy house. I love a creepy house. It's one of my favourite things to do is write about creepy houses. So again, really poor condition. I don't know if they end up in the charity shop in poor condition or they end up getting battered while they're there, because I love the charity shop. I love the charity itself, but their shop doesn't really keep their books in the best condition, or the people that are there just pulling them off the shelf, putting them back on. But again, not the best, but it's published by Oxford University Press. So I'm excited. I'm assuming it's a YA. Yep. And it used to belong to somebody called Alice in year 7. And I did say to myself, I was going to try not to buy any more YA. I told you why, for no reason, not to be negative. It's just I seem to keep collecting them. I'm trying to move away from that, but whatever. It sounds good. It sounds good. It just sounds good. I'm really sorry. I don't think this lighting is doing me any favours. I may sit down for the next video. I don't know. Anyway, the next book is The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johnson. I'm going to say Johnson. Apparently, if I love the Hunger Games and I'm partial to an episode of Game of Thrones, then I want to dive straight into this according to Heat magazine. I don't like Heat magazine. I think they're a pile of shit. But it does sound interesting. You know, girl's got a birthright. She's 19. Can she rule, or will she be dead within weeks? So I like Game of Thrones. I am I've read the first 2 books. Haven't started the third one yet. They're mammoth. It's an investment. So, and this one's not in bad condition, so I was quite happy about this. The next book I didn't realise is a film on Netflix. It's Red Riding Hood with Amanda. Can't pronounce the surname, but you know, I love Amanda. So I'm assuming it is a retelling of Red Riding Hood. So we're kind of sticking with that fairy tale theme. I love fairy tale themes, especially dark ones. Yeah, again, copy's a bit battered, but it goes to charity. And like I said, I got all of these books for £4.50 from that one shop. So I don't know who I'm justifying my battered books to. I love a battered book. I don't have to worry about the spine being broken. Someone's already done that for me. So, Red Riding Hood, Pretty Woman, Brooding Man, Big Bad Wolf. I'm sure you get the gist. Okay, and the next book I brought is Robert Louis Stevenson's A Child's Garden of Verses. I thought this was so freaking cute. So I picked it up. And I've never heard of it. I didn't know that he had done these. They're all really short, little, yeah. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to love it or not, but I thought I love verses, and it's such a cute addition. So we'll give it a go. Where else am I? Okay. The next up is not my favourite book. I've read it and I wasn't keen, but the book collector in me was like, we're picking it up. you can't see that. It's Jane Eyre. And it is just the cutest. Chancellor Classics edition. I've seen a couple of Pride and Prejudice like this, and I didn't pick them up at the time, regretting that now, but I think it's so cute. And again, I think I've got a theme with these, and yeah, it's just very cute, and I would be interested to reread it. So we shall see. The next book was from a different charity shop. It's The Edible Woman by Margaret Atwood. I have a couple of Margaret Atwoods. I've got The Handmaid's Tale. I've got a book of poetry. I've got The Blind Assassin. I've got Hagseed. And now I have The Edible Woman. So I'm not entirely sure what it's about, but apparently it's a subtle and penetrating observe of relationships between a man and a woman. I don't know. So I'm very excited to start it, but I can't get to it because I clearly have the Testaments right here as well. I bought that last night. There was no way I was waiting for payday for that, so I bought that brand new. And yeah, I kind of like Margaret Atwood, and I kind of don't. I love her ideas. Her storytelling is very unique and not something I'm used to. So I thought if I brought some more of her books, it would help me get into it a little bit more. So yeah, I'm very excited, and I really like the cover. Yeah, I like the cover. I brought it for the cover. Next is a very old book. The book is not old, but it was originally, I think it was written in like 1886. And this is W.B. Yeats. And this is the book of Fairy and Folk Tales of Ireland. So, yes, again, we're following that fairy tale theme. I don't really know of many from Ireland. I have family from Ireland. Don't we all, if I'm honest. But that sounded really rude. I didn't mean it like that. I was like, but yeah. So I'm really excited to have a read of that. I may have had this a long time ago, if I'm honest. It kind of rings the bell. The next book I picked up, because like I said, it is 6 for £2. So ideally, I wanted to make sure I got into that. So this book was literally to make up the numbers until I realised I was one over, but then I didn't want to take it out. And that is the 20th edition of The Philosopher's Stone in Gryffindor Red. As I've mentioned, if I'd not, I feel I would be a Ravenclaw. They didn't have a Ravenclaw, but this one is gorgeous nonetheless, and I really, really like that at the beginning. So I'm very, very happy to add that to the Harry Potter collection. The next, I'm not thrilled with the cover because it's the movie tie-in, the film tie-in, sorry, but it is Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I love Stardust so much, and I love Charlie Cox, so I don't mind the front at all with Charlie Cox. So yeah, I was so excited when I saw this. I was like, mine. Yeah, nice endorphin high when I was picking this up. Very excited. It's a lot thinner than I thought it would be, but there you go. And then the next book I picked up is Ink. Knife. Don't know why I said ink. That's because this is Tink. I picked this up because I recognise this fairy. This is a Brian Froud fairy, and she's called Tink. So I picked this up for that. I don't know. I assume it's a child's book again, but it's about fairies. I love fairies. And they also had Ribble, which is Brian Froud's fairies again. So it'd be nice if there was more pictures of Brian Froud's fairies in there, but there isn't. So what can you do? So, but there you go. That's why I picked them up. And yeah, that is it. So I definitely bought books when I said I wouldn't, but I think you can't really hold me to that. I can't be held to that. Anyway, so that is all I have for my haul. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of them, if there's any that you recommend. That'll be great, and I will see you soon.